Hello. Oh, I'll start that again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of Heresy Hammer. And today we're going to be talking about whitescars. We are plowing on to Terra, going through every single legion, hopefully before the end of this year. I think we're making pretty good progress. Kerry, how many have we do we know how many we've done so far? We're a third of the way through.
I think we're just over a third of the way through.
Okay, it feels like we've been doing them for we've done 100 legions, but I know that's not the case.
Second founding.
The second founding, that is right. But today we're talking about whitescars, the Fifth Legion, the Masters of Speed. And above me, I've got Kerry, and below me, I've got Howie as well. We'll introduce Howie in a second because this is a man that has many things to say. And in fact, we'll talk about Howie in a second. We'll put him in the limelight in a bit. But if you are new to the show and have just discovered us, we are a podcast dedicated to the Horus Heresy. My name is Rob. My other co-host is Lee. He's not here. He's slacking off. I'm sure he's probably working, actually, like saving people from fires and stuff. But I have got these two intrepid outriders to support with me today. And we have been doing deep dives. We've been doing deep dives non-stop, as well as our kind of usual shows. And these usually run to about an hour and 30 minutes. Some of them have even run to 2.5 hours, depending on the amount of units. So we'll see if we can do this one like the whitescars themselves and whiz through it as quickly as possible. But we do like to pride ourselves on cerebral discussions. And if you are looking for top 5 whitescars units, then you've come to the wrong place. We are going to be talking about the Legion as a whole and holistically in the round, talking about what's good, what works together well, etc., etc. Just a quick one, just to say as well, if you are new to the show, we also have a Patreon as well. So you might want to consider signing up if you enjoy the episode today. You can join us for as little as £4. And the latest show that me and Lee did was a 1.5 hour discussion all about Saturnine, going through every single unit that has the word Saturnine in, which was a really fascinating discussion. So if you love Horus Heresy and enjoy Tacticas and enjoy the longer format shows that you can hobby to, then we highly recommend that you go and check that one out. But without further ado, let's have a introduction to Howie and who this man is. So I've known Howie for a couple of years now. And he's come to a number of Heresy Hammer events, but also me and my friend James were able to go to one of his events because you have been working hard kind of setting up Wendigo events along with your friend Luke, haven't you, Howie? But this is just one of the many things you do because you're also a man who hobbies in his spare time. You've got a number of armies, and the whitescars is just like the latest iteration. So why don't you talk about your kind of hobby journey, what you've been working on, when you got into Horus Heresy, and then we'll finish up with a discussion about Wendigo events as well, because I know that you've got an event planned in the next couple of months, haven't you?
Yeah, in Feb. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
That's right.
My hobby journey is very typical to a lot of people that join Heresy. Huge break from when I was a kid. Managed to find a bit of time for myself once my own kids were sort of a bit more grown up, and got into it, 2.5 years ago. I think, more or less, originally playing Death Guard, which is a big jump, right?
The opposite, the complete opposite.
It's pretty much
Scars, basically. They're sworn enemies of the Whitescars as well.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So, I played Death Guard for a bit, and I found in second edition they were a bit too shooty for me. Moved into Raven Guard for a bit and found them super oppressive. They're just difficult to play without being oppressive. And it was actually Scotty from Goonhammer. He's like, "You would like whitescars." He was watching me play and he goes, "You strike, you fade, you bring in loads of reserves. Qinzar lets you bring one in for free." He was like, "You'd love the play style of an assault fast army." And I blame him for many a frustrated hour of painting red on white.
And if it goes wrong, the masking that you have to end up doing.
Rolls of Tamiya masking tape.
Right.
So that was me. So I've been playing whitescars solidly now for a year and a half, and I haven't really gone back. Even though I've got the Raven Guard army, I really enjoyed the way they play, particularly in second edition. They were super dynamic. The reaction was great. I'm loving them in third edition, but they are very strong. One of the challenges I'm finding with them is that there's a few things we're going to which make them just generically, even without their units, very good. Yeah, the event one was putting on events with Wendigo. It was a recent evolution, mainly motivated by wanting to give a bit back, to be honest. Like, both of us go to a hell of a lot of events, 14, 15 events a year. And we're like, look, we should probably do something of ourselves. And the only thing we were kind of leaning into was going super hard on narrative, hence the slightly wacky missions. And a dream to have really, really high quality terrain, which a lot of events do, but terrain that also tells a story.
Yeah.
So like special rules on the terrain boards and all that kind of stuff. So relatively recent endeavor, like you said, first event. God, it's only a few weeks ago. It feels like months ago.
No, it does. Yeah, these things are kind of like whirlwinds, aren't they? Events, because things move so quickly, and as you build up to it, they're so frantically getting stuff ready for it. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it was lovely. It was great. Went really well. So a bit of feedback from everyone was like doubles formats with narrative. They want more of them. So yeah, we're planning 3 next year. The next one, tickets are live now, is 21st. It's up on your website, I think. Sorting you over Facebook and stuff. But yeah, that's it. Still loving the scars, but I have to admit, getting to the point now where in terms of filling it out with units, I'm kind of on that kind of low, slow end bit now where anything else wouldn't feel very fluffy.
Yeah.
So it's last few bikes, a couple of special characters, and it's kind of like I'm possibly at the point where that's my options settled.
Yeah. There's no need to. There's not much you can. You've got an entire legion, so there's not more that you can add from there. Okay, awesome. Well, highly recommend Howie and Luke's events. It was absolutely cracking, and we actually did a review, myself and James, a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to check that one out, we talk about how not to win at Horus Heresy and almost the mistakes that we made in terms of list building, and amazing to see how, dare I say, how quickly the meta has shifted and basically what you need to be able to compete. I mean, that is a conversation for another time. Perhaps we'll get Howie back on the show to discuss the changing meta, but also Howie does have a podcast as well, which you've forgotten to mention. So if you want even more, once you've finished listening to Heresy Hammer, then you can go check out Howie's podcast as well. And Lee's always nagging me, being like, "Oh, when's their latest episode up?" And I was like, "I don't know. You have to speak to them about it." But yeah, you've got a relatively fresh and new podcast, haven't you, for 3rd edition, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. Well, I say fresh and new. I think the last one we recorded was 8 or 9, and it blew my mind because again, it felt like we've done like 2.
Yeah.
Chris Gibson's amazing at keeping us on track with it, and he just turns around a production so quickly.
Yeah.
And we've got Ian on there as well. Ian kind of scripts it a bit for us, or scripts, gives us bullet points, which then I then ignore, and he throws rocks at me. And Lee as well. So yeah, try and just keep it about the hobby mainly. We sometimes go a bit off track. But it's a lot of event organisers, 3 different event organisers as well, which I think just gives us a lot of different context.
Yeah.
It's interesting how our events all run slightly differently with different groups. So it's fascinating how that, you say meta, how that's already also getting localised, which is crazy that happens so quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 3 mugs and a monster, isn't it? So you can go check that out on Spotify. All right, now, or at least after you've watched this episode. Cool. Okay, well, let's get into it.
I'm just looking at that dreadnought at the bottom and thinking how much I miss the full Forge War dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they're hot, aren't they? They're hot. Although I'm painting a Sons of Horus one up currently that's just got the resin torso, and I gotta say I don't hate it. I don't hate the fact that there's less stuff to paint on them. So from a commission painting point of view, it certainly makes my life quicker. All right, let's get into it. So as we have said before, we are going to be discussing all of the legions, and then I'm hoping to get other than just the legions, we're going to be doing kind of like solar orgs, some militia, yada, yada, yada. We'll do all the other armies as well. But our big focus at the moment is trying to get all the legions done before Christmas time. And we are looking at the Masters of Speed, the whitescars. So let's get into this. So let's just briefly talk about the lore. So the first thing to say is Chris Ray. If you've not read any of his books, he, I think, is one of the consistently, or I would say the highest consistent standard of books across the board from him. And they range from, books about Lehman Russ. He did a really good novella about him. And then he was like trapped in the, I forgot what I want to say the Araxes Nebula or something like that, where they were caught by the Alpha Legion. absolutely like fantastic book where Russ just like absolutely murders a contemptor. But he's also, and what I think where I first read him was actually when he took on the White Scars and the challenge of telling us what the White Scars were doing. Because prior to those books, we didn't really know too much about the White Scars, apart from they were just basically a bit aloof and they just rode loads of bikes all the time. And he did a really good job at fleshing out the White Scars and the story of the White Scars, and they're just total badasses. Like their whole vibe, their whole nature, it's one of like soulful kind of war. And one of the big things that kind of comes out of the book is that they're not just warriors, but they're also poets and artists and things like that. And now we obviously get that in, you get a sense from that when, Fulgrim is sculpting stuff, but they're doing it almost for the Emperor's Children are doing it for all the wrong reasons. Whereas I think that the White Scars are almost doing it to become well-rounded, individuals as well as sort of, with a focus on war. And the Khan himself is a fascinating character. And I think that you get a sense from the books that he is, of course, a little bit aloof. And he doesn't necessarily agree always with the Emperor's plan. And it was assumed by the traitors that the White Scars were closer to Horus's nature than they ever were to the Emperor. And then the follow-up book to that, Path of Heaven, is about how the White Scars eventually make their way back to Terra, and then the decisions the Khan needs to make in order to keep his legion together and essentially to survive as well. I think the book kind of moves on a number of different years, and when the book opens up, they are in quite a fraught position, being surrounded by the enemy, which is not a position that the Khan likes to be in. And I think that the Path of Heaven also has one of the saddest moments and the most emotional moments of all the books, I think, within the Horus Heresy. Me and John have talked about that previously on kind of our top 12 moments, but I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it or read it. But the other thing to just bring out as well is this idea of the Sagyam Azam. So one of the key features of the first book, Scars, was almost this internal division between the White Scars Legion, which is and they focus quite heavily on this idea of kind of like Terran legionaries and legionaries from the home world. Although I think that does play out in that kind of way, but actually loyalties are much more complicated than that. There are some that obviously come from, I want to say Chonda, but that's not right. Jaguris, isn't it? And there are some legionaries who come from Jaguris who side with the Sons of Horus. And in order for those legionaries, because there's essentially there's some civil strife on the ships, on the flagships, when the Khan is on the world of Prospero. We won't kind of tell you much more than that, because there's a massive duel there. But while he is off on planet, there's essentially a mini civil war on the Legion ships, where insurrectionists that side with Horus try to take over, and the Khan kind of comes back, exercises his will, and kind of retakes control of the fleet. And then, in order to do penance, those legionaries that sided with Horus, or at least tried to take control of the fleet and wrestle control of the fleet from the Khan, are forced to go and fight essentially to the death and to cause as much mayhem as possible. So it's in fact great to kind of like linked with the Shattered Legion rules that dropped today as we're recording this, because that's a great basis for a Shattered Legion force. And you've got characters like Hibu Khan, which are actual playable characters within the game, who have a whole backstory within the Scars and Path of Heaven books as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic set of books, and I think it's really interesting as well how the Scars are often lumped together with the Space Wolves.
They hate that though. They talk about hating it. They really hate that close approximation. And
when you get a real sense that they're in no way are they as savage as the White Scars, as the Space Wolves. Misunderstood, I think, would be the thing. But yeah, really cool Legion, really awesome, really cool
Open
backstory.
to Scars has got I can't remember what his name originally is, but he's like, I'm going to be a son of Horus. I'm training. I'm going to join the sons of
Yes.
Horus, the best of them
Yeah.
all. And they go,
Yes.
you're going to be a white scar. And he's like,
Yes.
fuck.
Yeah. So the disappointment from a Terran who was forced to join the White Scars Legion when he was supposed to join the best of the best, the 16th Legion, is a really interesting facet to that story. And almost the resentment that drives him all throughout that story about being placed with the White Scars is really interesting. And it's just another thing that just makes Chris Wright just such a good writer, which is that these characters are so detailed, so in depth, so thoughtful. And it's not just like bolter porn. Like, these characters are really well fleshed out, and their motivations are really interesting, and their thoughts and feelings and emotions are really interesting for Space Marines that know no fear. Anyway, just a final couple of things as well. So they play obviously a really prominent role within the Siege of Terror books, literally all throughout those books. They are absolutely kicking dick. And one of the great set pieces is where the Khan basically says, "We need this line and no further. We will not back down," and he retakes the Lionsgate spaceport, which is an absolutely awesome kind of like set piece battle, and is, I think, one of the like top 3 books within the Siege of Terror series. I think I can't remember what that book is called. Is it
Warhawk.
called Warhawk?
That's Warhawk.
Yeah.
Lionsgate's in Warhawk.
Yeah, so absolutely awesome. In fact, tomorrow, after listening to this, I'm going to re-listen to that book because it's been a while since I've listened to it. Anyway, we will not talk any more about the lore. Definitely worth reading Chris Wright's books, literally all of them, whether about White Scars or not. But we are here to talk about the rules today. So, Kerry, why don't you start us off? Because the Legion got basically 100% better from second to third edition, right? So, what is their actual Legion rule?
So our wonderful Legion Tactica, as you said, doubled what we had last time. At the start of any of your turns, you have to nominally declare, but you basically say, I'm always going to do it. So just, even if I don't mention it, just assume I'm doing it.
Okay, yeah.
Everything that isn't a tank that's got at least M1, so has a movement value, adds +2 to its move until the end of that turn.
So 100% better. Now, tell me
second
this.
Edition, in second edition, it was +1. Now we get +2.
Yeah. Now, tell me this. Does this impact your setup move?
Yes.
That's so juicy.
Good.
I mean, you've given us an example there, because a normal tactical marine would have a setup of 3 inches, but a White Scars tactical marine would have a setup of 4 inches as a result.
And that same tactical marine has a move of 9 before you even start thinking about charging.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't affect reactions though, and that was something I was
No.
playing wrong very initially, because it's till the end of your player turn. So it doesn't interact with your advanced reaction. You have to take the 2 inches back effectively.
Okay. That's actually okay. That's really. I can't wait to catch out a White Scars player with that. I'm really. That's really good to know. Actually, that's great. Okay, but a really strong rule, that +2 inches movement, and just the fact that this edition seems to be just entirely based on getting to objectives and holding them. You are basically going to be getting to objectives faster than your opponent, essentially. Yep, absolutely love it. I think that's brilliant. Not much more to say.
It means even slow stompy boys, cataphractii terminators, moving 8.
Yeah, and like
Saturnine Dread is moving 8.
And the Saturnine just terminate. I mean, me and Lee were literally talking on the Patreon, being like, "Oh man, the Saturnine movement is only like 5 inches, but these guys can just move like a normal tactical marine now. They can move 7 inches, which is absolutely loco, isn't it? That's crazy." And I'd have to check the setup move table if you've
I've got it open next to me.
What is so? What's just for a heavy unit that has a move of 7?
So a unit 7 initiative plus move of 7 to 9 is a 2-inch setup normally.
Interesting.
We get an extra inch setup on our cataphractii.
Yeah, that's all right. That's very, very respectable, isn't it?
The jump from 3-inch to 4-inch setup is 11 to 12. So that normal tacticals are at the top end of 3 inches.
Yeah.
We get the.
It's interesting, isn't it, this rule? Because I think you could make the assumption, you're just like, oh, well, it just affects their movement. But it actually affects assault quite dramatically as well. In that, again, it makes cataphractii 100% better on the setup move. So, love that. Okay, cool. Right, let's have a look at what is next. So, Harry, talk us through the Legion Gambit and what this is and how it works.
So the Gambit one is a little bit interesting. So basically, you choose a 50% chance of ignoring any penalties to your roll. So if you're going with like a chain fist and you're heavy and you go, right, I'm going to choose 4, 5, 6. And if I roll that, then it's like, that's all gone. It's really good if you're wounded as well, because obviously if you're wounded in a challenge, you get big negatives. So sometimes there's no point. There's no point taking any of others. The 2d6 isn't going to do it for you. Whereas this just gives you a chance of maybe creeping in. So it's best when you're already on the back foot, I find. I think there's better choices at the beginning, but it's good if you've kind of just lost the first round of a challenge, you're on the back foot. It's not a bad one to pop. It's not amazing, but it's not bad.
You imagine if you're wounded, you're heavy, and you've got a weapon that's -2 or 3 initiative going, I'm already 5 down before I even roll. So a 50-50 chance of ignoring that -5 and just going, it's a straight roll now.
Yeah, okay. It's a bit like playing in Las Vegas, I guess, isn't it? Which is that if you've been rolling well all night, then are you gonna decide that you're gonna go high or go low because you've been rolling so well? Okay, that's pretty cool, and I like it, and I like the element of risk involved. I suppose if you just fail it, it's just you just go at what your normal one anyway. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like it. Very fitting for whitescars.
Remember, it also means they can't double block you, which I think is kind of cool, because sometimes if you're wounded, a savvy player will get rid of the one that gives you 2 dice for focus. But then we've still got this, and if they block this, then we've got the 2 dice for focus. So you've kind of always got one that gives you a hope, which is useful.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, what's next? So the Legion reaction. Now, this is a bloody pain in the arse when facing whitescars, because it is more frustrating than when you were like trying to shoot at Alpha Legion in last edition. Because if you get too sodding close to these guys, they're just going to run away. And not only can they just run away once, they can run away however many times they want, because it's not an exclusively single advanced reaction. Which
a whitescar player will never use the default move reaction.
Literally,
there's no point.
There's literally no point, is there? So, Kerry, talk us through Chasing the Wind.
So it got majorly nerfed from 2nd edition, because it used to be everything in 12 got to make a move. Now it's just 1 unit. Yeah, we live. But if an enemy finishes 12 inches and within line of sight of your unit, that unit can make a full move of their as Harry said earlier on, their base
movement. Yeah,
but they can make a full move in any direction they want.
It's crazy. Like, because if you have a key, particularly a weak unit, your combat unit kind of moves up to them, they're just gonna scarper, and you're like, I will never get those now. Like that is it. Like I'm just gonna be standing here outside of my tank, about to get shot by whitescars. And then what happens? Can this trigger multiple units to flee? So if I use up my movement reactions, can I go 1, 2, 3 from a single unit can flee as well?
The whole can multiple units react to multiple things is still, I think, up for debate. But I've always taken it that you can react to multiple people.
Okay, so I think basically prepare for whitescars to be running away from your combat units, right? And particularly if you've got lots of vanguard, it's going to be very difficult to get this off, because they're going to be scarpering even further than most other units would. Harry, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So the first thing is, it's a bit frustrating as a whitescars player, because I find I have to have the rule book ready. Yeah. Because when you go this is not once per battle, 50-50 people won't believe you. And you're like, demonstrate this to you.
Yeah, excellent.
Because I think it's us and Night Lords, right, Kerry? I think that's it. That get often as we want. I think everyone else.
Yeah, there's not many.
There's a few. There's more than 2. I think there's more than 2. Yeah,
it's not a lot. So I think that's one thing. I didn't realise for the first half dozen games. I just thought we got a bit of a nerf.
No. It's really good.
The other thing that's and I've just had to double check it again because it's so good. We can move react like tanks.
Is that right?
Well, it doesn't say infantry, right? It just says whitescars unit. Kerry's looking. I've checked this every time.
Digging it up.
Yeah,
that's interesting. You would have to check in the tanks and reactions section about whether they can move reactor thing. So let us know, fuel the algorithm. Let us know in the comments below whether you think that's the case or not. But it is, despite that, it is very good. Anyway, let's have a look. What's next, Kerry? I believe, is it the Arsenal or is it the?
I say the only disadvantage with this reaction, it's very easy to blow 3 reactions and
you can burn quick. Yeah,
got to be sensible.
When you run away, who cares when they can't chase?
But it's interesting. This is the argument I've had before. If you're playing terrain rules as written, you don't need the others, because if you've used this well, you've not only moved away, but you've moved 3 inches into medium terrain, and you're invisible as well. So you don't need as much.
Yeah, this is really powerful. Another reason why this Legion is just top tier. Cool. Let's have a look what's next. So the Legion unique detachment. So the Chagorian Warband. So it's an auxiliary detachment. And then it's got 2 fast attacks and then 2 recons. Fast attack slots must be used by Scimitar jet bikes, and recon slots must be Legion Outriders. Now this kind of looks like Chagorian Brotherhood that we had in the previous edition. However, the obvious big thing, and the thing that we haven't spoken about, and I think is probably good to speak about now, is that cavalry can never score, can it?
Never score objectives.
Never score objectives, right? Yeah. Okay, but they could, they can get Vanguard.
Because, for instance, Outriders come with Vanguard 1.
Right, okay, yeah.
So they can score that, but they can never score objectives.
Interesting. Okay, right. So I think this is interesting. If you want lots of bikes in your list, then this seems like an obvious way to go. But what do you guys think about its flexibility? Because I think this is quite constrictive, when you compare it to something like the Sons of Horus Supremacy Caldre. This feels quite constrictive. It's got a cheeky little prime slot in there. But yeah, Howie, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think my biggest challenge is just the state that jet bikes are in. Spafford bikes are great. Do you know what I mean? I think they've got a very specific job, but they do it really, really well. But I've trying to use bog standard jet bikes as anything other than a wound buffer for a mounted Praetorian or something.
Yeah,
I've not found a good use for them. So it's 2 slots that I often don't find a use for. So normally I'd just take the one that gives you 2 recon anyway.
Yeah,
because I just don't use this. I think the other thing what I'd love to have seen is flexibility around the prime slot. So, or have 2, because I'd much prefer to have that prime slot on the recon bikes, to be honest.
100%.
Yeah.
Kerry, what's your thoughts on this one?
Very similar. I think it works very well if you want to build a very fluffy white scars. Yeah, all mounted, all go. But as I said, jet bikes they're okay. They took tone down, really. I think it would have been nice. I mean, fast attack slots also include javelins or Proteus land speeders. It would have been nice to have opened it just opened up slightly wider to go. This is about a anti-grav cavalry type list. Maybe throw in a cheeky elite slot and say you can have a unit Golden Keshik.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's unusual to me, looking from the inside as a non-White Scars player, that you've got a Chagorian warband, but it would have been also good to maybe drop 1 Outrider and have like 1 retinue squad, but the retinue squad had to be a command squad on a jet bike or whatever. But I'm not sure does that even exist within the main rulebook, or is that that doesn't exist? Or is
no, it wouldn't have mounted
legacies.
Yeah, so even then you're not going to have it. Anyway, it's a funny one. I think it would be great if bikes were able to score objectives, but they're not. So yeah. Anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you making use of this one? I mean, the other thing I would say though, as a counter to this, is that I have come across a number of Outrider bikes now in White Scars lists and Raven Guard lists, and they are such a pain
when they come out in plastic. They're going to be,
and this was going to be my follow-up point, which is that I suspect when they come out in plastic, like White Scars players are going to be rubbing their hands together because they've got an auxiliary detachment that just unlocks 2. Now you could, exactly, I suppose, as Howie said, there's already an auxiliary detachment that unlocks 2, but I suppose this just gives you, some scimitar jet bikes on top of that as well. But we'll probably talk about Outriders a little bit later, because I suspect the All Guys lists that you're going to show us later have them in, and we will talk about what a menace they are. But any way to access Outrider bikes is going to be very depressing to me, because they're just really good and then just murder all my stuff, and then I can't even get close to them because they run away. Alas. Right, let's have a look at what is next with the Legion Armory. So, Kerry, before we came on the show, he was using expletives about the Legion Armory.
Very thin.
Very, 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 very thin. So, Kerry, talk us through why you're so depressed about the Legion Armory.
So, the Power Glaive is actually a really good weapon.
Yeah, you can't cry too much, because it actually is pretty decent.
It's at initiative, at attacks, +1 strength, AP 3, but plus impact APs, it's AP 2 on a charge, and it's breaching 5 up.
Yeah, it's great.
This thing's great. Only problem, only available to command type models.
Yeah.
So your sergeants, my sergeants with glaives, my apothecaries with glaives are now carrying very fancy looking power spears.
Yeah, and no champions either. It's just command, is it? Okay,
Just
so
command.
Even if I upgrade a master sergeant or something to a master sergeant, he can't even take a power glaive.
Yeah. So it's a great weapon, but you can use it in like 2 models in your army. Other than
the Evan Kashig, right?
Evan Kashig could get it, but it's a very
cool.
small.
Yes. Okay, cool. What's this Cyberhawk then do?
So, Howie, do you want to go?
I like Cyberhawk. I think it's all right. I mean, it's not what it was before. It was nuts, right? It's probably the best 10 points you could spend on any Legion. But move through cover, like you said before, it's a game of mobility. So that's great. You're not taking difficult terrain. But also don't take dangerous terrain, which is kind of cool. So really good on jump squads.
Yeah.
And jumping in and out of terrain, not having to worry about dangerous. It's all right for 10 points. I will take it on most things that I can.
Yeah. That's pretty good. What does a move reaction like the whitescars one? Does it?
It's slowed.
Is it slowed?
It's slowed by dangerous terrain
as well. And then actually, so in this, you wouldn't be slowed either. So if you had the Cyberhawk, you wouldn't be slowed. Interesting. So I think that's doubly good there. Cool. And then the Sagimazan carry. What does that do?
So Sagimazan is really reflect, as you discussed it on. It's reflecting those white scars who they've besmirched their honor. They will do whatever they want and anything they can for themselves. It's the most dangerous situations to go, my death is the only way I regain my honor. So I'm going to die in the most spectacular way I can.
Love that.
So it gets to any infantry or cavalry unit and gives them expendable 2. Basically, I don't care if I die.
Yeah, okay, that's quite good. I mean, that's quite cool on the Chagorian Warband, because one of those is a prime slot. So you could make one of the prime slot one of those jet bikes Sagimazan unit.
It's only really for first strike, though, right, Rob? Because
I mean, literally,
we're just not getting vanguarded.
Yeah, exactly.
Until they give us a kill point game mode, until we get a kill point mission.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would work.
This is a wider issue, I think, just with the game in general, which is that at the moment it's so weighted towards scoring that I think that everyone's just gone line mad. I'm hoping that we will get some more kill point missions in the future, where like the expendable will be more useful and come into effect, because in that situation taking as many prime Sagimazan units as possible will be useful in a kill point mission. So cool. Okay, so it's pretty some of the stuff there is really good, but there's just not a lot of it, I would say.
We lost Shamshir jet bikes, which was the White Sky unique jet bike. That's gone. I don't think we ever actually had that much to lose, but
yeah, it just feels, in comparison to some, it might feel a little bit thin. Although I think all legions are pretty thin. This looks pretty similar to the Ultramarines one to me, to be honest. So cool. All right, what's next? Right, so I'm very curious about this, because I had 5 of these for my Alpha Legion, and these were a staple of my Alpha Legion list. I really, really liked them because they absolutely hit like a freight train. My first question is, that movement 16, does it have the base white scars move built in, or is it +2 on top of that as well?
18-inch move.
Oh, mama. Okay, Howie, take us through this Legion Elite Golden Kashig unit then.
So I think you've hit the nail on the head with one thing, and it's the same when you come to Neptunians on Outriders as well. Is you're getting a turn one charge off quite easy, right?
Yeah,
Because you're
100%.
18, you're a 6-inch setup. So you're 24 inches before you're rolling to charge.
That's
So
crazy.
it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I think these are interesting in that they've shifted a bit from second edition. Second edition, because of the way their rules worked, it was quite easy to switch them off potentially. It was always very debatable, but they were good armor hunters.
Yeah, 100%.
Really good armor hunters. Now, not so much. Do you know what I mean? That strength 9, it's like a las cannon, and we all know las cannons don't really do enough against big armor anymore.
Agreed.
But what is really cool is they get a power sword now, which they can swap out for. In the FAQ now, it's any power weapon. So you've got to think what you're hunting. So if you want to get that turn 1 charge and just absolutely wreck a line unit, because it's a whole host of attacks, weapon skill 5, put them with power maces, go in, just bonk them with the maces and watch them run off.
Man, like I had not realized that, and I had not realized there were 3 attacks each. Like that is nuts, and they're like a 2-up save as well. So
they're not that expensive.
No, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Like they are basically like I mean, I'd be interested to compare the points against a jet bike command squad against these guys, because the fact that it's just baked, the power weapon is just baked in is is really interesting. Yeah, I love that.
And the launch and the templates are better than they were as well, because heavy not being a thing for templates. So they've got, and be able to shoot something you don't run at. So you could try and pin one tactical squad if they're clustered up, charge another, see if you get lucky. So they've got utility, but they're very different to what they were before. And the same with all of the good bikes, what I call a weapon skill 5 bike bracket. Any quality fire goes into them, absolutely melts them. Because 2 wounds, no invuln, no shroud. They're getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that's
a shame to talk about a unit like this and go they're best when you literally don't use their actual weapon.
Yeah, so the contest power lance. So what does that do?
So it's not as complicated as it used to be, which is great. So it hits a really, really, really high initiative, right? So you're going first, which is great. And if you've got the charge off, which is a bit of a theme for us, then it gets impact AP. So it nudges its AP from armor piercing 3 to armor piercing 2, which suddenly makes it, all right at taking on your Sacrus and your Cataphracti.
Yeah, good point.
It's D2, but it sets your attack to 1.
Right.
So if you've got a squad of 5 of these going against even a weapon skill 4, say Cataphracti squad, you're hitting with 2 or 3, they're involving half of them, and then they're going to mess you up because you've got no info. So, 2 or 3 surviving will be enough to kill you, probably, unfortunately, or certainly do a huge amount of damage to you. They're armor bane. So, if you're slamming them into things that are AV13 on the rear or less, D2, a big squad will do it, but you still need to be putting some points in. At that point, you're probably putting a 200-point squad in.
Yeah.
There's probably better ways to remove armor at that point. And against AV14, they're just not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And now they don't have hit and run. So the spear doesn't only work on a charge. It used to be the spear only worked full stop on a charge. Now you can always use it, but you're only AP3. Which is a bit shit. And we don't have hit and run anymore. So it's not charge in, duck out, go back in again. We're in and we're stuck until we die, basically.
Yeah, that's interesting. What's your thoughts on deep striking just 3 of these to make the most out of the pinning 1 templates? Because you're not gonna scatter, and you're just like, bam, take a load of my template, baby, and then you got a chance to do some pinning on top of that.
Yeah, I just find statuses are just so unreliable as a way to deal with scoring, right? With nuncios and the fact you're moving statuses before the victory phase, like there's a lot of chances for them to get rid of them.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. Okay, I suppose add a herald to a squad of these guys, and then maybe get some pinning off, and then that could be an interesting combination. Okay,
they always used to have basically a chaplain used to be mandatory on them to go. I've only got 1 attack. I've got to make the most of it. There's no about having any rolls to hit anymore. Any way to improve your to hit roll, really.
Yeah. Okay. So these guys are in an interesting place. Good against medium and light armor, and good against donking. Just basically just a total bonk squad, right? Which is just arm them with maces and then take out some tacticals, because you're going to be able to get to them really, really quickly. And the spoilers, you'll be able to get to them really, really quickly as well.
There is a key point with all the bikes as well, that if you can get that turn one charge off and then chase them down and be locked in, so you're not shot the next turn, and then you get very lucky.
Yeah.
So you make that work, you lock in, you wipe them on their turn. Yeah. So then you get your turn again, and suddenly these things are right in the back lines causing mayhem, but it's very hard to plan for.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, sometimes they'll do really well, and then sometimes they'll just get blown off the board by autocannons with damage too, right? I mean, that's ultimately the issue. I think the templates are really interesting because you can obviously fire those in the volley fire, right? You can fire them at something else, and then you can, because they're templates, you can just fire them in volley fire, which could be quite cool.
We'll check on that because they don't
do they not have? Oh, they don't have implacable advance. And not assault. Oh god. Oh god.
No, they count.
Terrible. No, I don't think they can because they don't have implacable advance. So
they are assaults. They're an assault trait.
Oh, they're assault.
Fire them. Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. So I can just fire one thing, try and pin it, and then set up towards something else, try and volley fire it, and then go on in. Okay, cool. All right. I think these got place. I'm going to give them a go with some Alpha Legion because even without that +2, I think they've got some legs. Right. Let's have a look at the next unit then. So these are, I've played against these and they are really good. Don't let the weapon skill 4 trick you into thinking that they are a poor choice. They are good, and I think because they're movement 9, effectively. I don't think they necessarily need to take a transport. If you've got a massive squad of these, I think you can take a few wounds and a few guys, and then you're absolutely fine. Right, Kerry, talk us through the Ebon Keshik.
So to everyone looking and going, why are your Terminators weapon skill 4? These guys are not the elites of the Legion. These are guys who have besmirched their honour a little bit, and therefore they volunteer for the really dangerous jobs in the hope they can regain their honour while still alive and join the Legion again. So these aren't Legion elites, these are mooks in Terminator armor.
Yes, they've been placed in the van because of their.
So as a result, their
work ethic.
They're committing themselves to these really dangerous missions. So that's why they've got leadership 10, cool 9, great. They've got obviously the Terminator buff, the Terminator toughness 5, like all others. 3 attacks is quite nice.
Yeah, really nice.
They're all in Tartarus armor now. The days of first edition where we got to pick what armor they're in are long gone. All in Tartarus armor, so 2 up, 5 up. Bulky 2, Vanguard 3, as is fairly common for Terminator assaulty type units. 6 up, Feel No Pain built in, which is, I feel No Pain so rare now.
Yeah, so it's that nice little buff, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Expendable 2, and every guy gets a glaive.
And how much was a glaive? It was 10 points per guy.
10 points.
Did you have to? Yeah, I was going to say, do you have to buy a power weapon and upgrade it?
Yeah, it's 20 points by the time you've upped it. Yeah. So.
Wow, is it really? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Man alive. So basically, these.
Much.
Okay, so basically, these guys are just a total bargain at 35 points per extra guy, right?
So controversially, I prefer just a straight up Tartarus squad.
Interesting. Okay, what's that?
So I think these guys have a touch of versatility because they've got that AP2 on the charge. But often if I'm relying on that AP2, I'm going into a weapon skill 5 squad and it might be problematic for me. I'm not going to get the volume because they're only 3 attacks. So again, I was using these to hunt down mooks, which they are amazing at, don't get me wrong. But what I find is that I'm hunting down mooks for exactly the same number of points, 200 points, I can have a 5-man normal Tartarus squad with lightning claws, which are putting out 25 attacks instead of 15.
Interesting.
The 6 up Feel No Pain's nice, but it's not like a 5-up that the Iron Hands get that you can rely on it at all. So you spike it, unfortunately I think you got spikes, didn't you, Rob? Then it's horrible. Yeah. But my experience is it just doesn't come off enough to make it worth it. I think they're cool. I think they're lovely models. So I'm kind of I'm half of one and the other.
Yeah.
Harry, like you were saying, they're great. They're great mental stats, but again, so often I'm lobbing a character in with them. So I'm testing against that. So it's a great benefit, but one you don't often use very much. So they're interesting. The update, the Age of Darkness stuff, legacies, gave them a few more options, which I think makes them a bit more versatile. So they can take a Vexilla now because they couldn't originally.
I mean, that's pretty big to take a Vexilla on a Terminator squad. That's pretty rare, isn't it, actually?
So that's really good. And you can mix them up a bit more now. So if you did want to go elite hunting, you can put a power fist on one for 10 points. So have a bit of a mixed loadout. And that also gives you a bolter, because these guys have no bolters either, right? And if anyone's been running 5-man Terminator squads, 20 bolter shots is good. So you're also losing that with these guys. So they're good, but I don't think they're the auto include that people have seen they are because of that 6-up feel no pain. I think they've got a really special niche. They can be a pain. You also want to take a biggish squad of them if you're foot running them.
Oh yeah, you want to take like 8, don't you? At least
I'd say 8's the magic number.
Yeah, if you're foot slogging them at 100%. Okay, yeah, really interesting. And the other big thing is they've got Vanguard 3, so they can only score 1 VP a turn if they're on an objective as well. So so they've got a specific role, and if you want to upgrade them to have more versatility and go after elites, like by taking power fist, then you can do that. But yeah, I like these a lot. I think I think personally they're really well costed at 35 points for what you get, considering that the glaive is like a bajillion points anyway. So I can see why lots of White Scars players would take them, and then on top of their movement buffs as well. I think that's really, really nice. Okay,
and the
cool.
models are really nice.
Yes, the models are.
So the models are really nice, but I presume there's no way, because they're in Legion Heavy Assault, there's no way to make them prime, is there? There's no Shock Assault prime slot. I mean, there's one in the Saturnine book now, but I think that has to be specifically like Tartarus or Cataphractii. So there's no way to like.
Which then feeds into what Howie said about take Tartarus base anyway instead.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. Right, perfect. Let's move on then. So I've got 3 of these, and I was
4.
very disappointed to see that they can only be taken in units of 1.
Yeah.
Which personally for me, you guys are the experts, but I think really hurts them, because I think javelins, and to some extent the Proteus land speeders, but less so because of its versatility in terms of the weaponry it can take. I think javelins are just in a really weird place, which is that there's probably other stuff that does something similar in terms of firepower better than a javelin now.
When you consider that these guys are support slots, not fast attack, and support's quite heavily contested now.
100%.
And they're toughness 7, so they're +1 above a normal javelin, but it makes all difference. Literally that with the amount of damage that flying. Anyway, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So, Kerry, why don't you walk us through the Qinzar speeder? So the Qinzar is a cavalry anti-grav. Obviously, it's based around a javelin pattern speeder. Nice and quick. Move 14, weapon skill 4, skill 4 strength, toughness 7. I said 4 wounds, leadership 8s and 7s. So they are prone to statuses. They're bulky 5. They've got deep strike. They've got firing protocols 3, which is good because they come with 2 Reaper autocannons and a Achilles assault cannon strapped to the front, and can take 2 HK missiles if you so choose.
That might be a good.
HKs are much improved now.
Yeah, that might be quite a nice addition actually. Just for 10 points for 2 of them, I think that'd be good. What does a Reaper autocannon do? It's 36-inch range, right? How many shots is it?
It was 2 shots twin linked, but I don't know what it is now. So I'm not actually used one of these yet this edition.
No, still
sport slot, and then
Reaper autocannon is FP2, strength 6, AP4, D2, breaching 6 up, heavy FP.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so
heavy FP is like a help you when you're trying to move around on a nice fast M14 platform.
No.
So you're getting 4 shots. Strength 6, AP4, D2 with breaching 6 up.
And then the Kiri's has got a pretty similar stat line apart from its damage 1, right?
Yeah, it gets 5 shots. Strength 6, AP4, D1. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what role do these fill? I mean, they seem to be very light tanks like rhinos or some anti-infantry, but we're talking anti-tax squads and despoilers. I mean, the damage 2 is nice, but yeah, I don't know. Howie, what's your thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like in second edition, I was really dubious of them anyway. I think you had to run them in a pair.
Mm,
And then they had the output to really do some horrible things to
mm.
tactical squads, particularly late game if they'd been whittled down a bit. And they often got left alone a bit because
Yeah.
they weren't horrible.
No, and they were so tough as well. It was that like it
Yeah.
was actually quite difficult to deal with them. Yeah, you needed other autocannons to wound on force, so it was tough to get rid of them.
Whereas I think now, yeah, two things really. So one is, yeah, not being able to squadron them just makes them so vulnerable to just being plinked.
Yeah,
Because you're not going, oh God, they might return fire on me. It's like, wow, it's one of them. Is he going to waste that? Return fire? Probably won't. So I think that's one of the big issues. And then just 4 wounds.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like tanks have had all these big buffs on hull points, right? So these are like vulnerable tanks. And they've stayed at many wounds. 2 auto cannons, 6
a single 2-shot las cannon sponson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, or a tarantula, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a single tarantula will just be like, boom, gone on this. Yeah. Were they also a 2-up save in the previous edition?
No, they were heavy though, weirdly.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We also had the harbinger. They used to have a harbinger of the Legion rule, which kept them alive because they could re-roll shroud saves. They were
so good back then. So good. Yeah. I mean, what do I say? I think they look cool. I think they've got an anti-infantry role. The hunter killers are decent, but it's how many support slots are you guys taking? Because the lightness is you can probably find something better in your other support slots. But if you're going heavy anti-grav, then this might be an option. But
these things competing with rapiers and heavy weapons teams and support squads.
That's the problem, right? That's the problem. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at our next unit then. So the Stormseer. So Howie, take us through the Stormseer because this I think is really strong now, right?
So I think he's in every list I build now, pretty much. He's got weaker in one way, but in every other way is better, really, which is really cool. So he's still got that key sort of special whitescars psycho discipline where anything is it just 12 inches, I think. Anything you can buff a model within 12 inches a unit, and they basically get to run and charge. It's the easiest way to think. They get an initiative move and then added to their move, and then they can charge as well. Now, the really cool thing is it used to be really restrictive. Like he had to stay still. And
it was a nightmare to use it last time. It was,
They've eased up on it a little bit, which is kind of nice. The other really cool thing is 2 psychic powers. So my standard loadout for this guy is, chasing the wind, storm calling, and using chasing the wind, but then I also give him divination.
Right.
Because what I find is I keep him sort of forward on the front line. Mm-hmm. So the forward on my front line in deployment, tuck him away somewhere safe, lob something forward, and then after that, if I haven't got anything to move around, if I don't need the mobility, I'll just pop divination on something hideous that's in my back line and shooting and give that a 5-up. So he's got utility all the way through.
So you're like slingshotting
slings up something horrible,
and then you're like, okay, go snipe out that guy with the divination, right?
Yeah, you can't use both powers on the same turn,
right?
Okay, but it just gives you I've always got something for him to do. You can still throw out his 36-inch range unseen bolt, which is stun 2, so it does sometimes get a bit lucky. So he's just got loads for the price you're paying for him. I think by the time I've upgraded him, he goes to 115 if you give him divination as well. But for what you're just constantly rolling dice on him. And in many ways, you don't want your psyker to be in a squad anymore.
Right.
They mess up their powers of the warp. They take it's bad news. The bad side, the only bad side, and Ian, who does 3 Mugs and the Monster with me, literally got caught in this just yesterday. He showed me this beautiful conversion of his Stormseer, and it's got a force axe. And I was like, we can't take those.
Oh no!
We're not allowed sharp force axes.
Okay, just blunt skulls at the end of sticks is all you're allowed.
And they're AP4, aren't they, Carrie? They're not even AP3. Yeah, so they're just like tapping on Marines with their force powers.
Yeah. Okay, well, this guy, seems pretty good, and I suppose it just lends itself to what you said before, which is that first turn charges are even more possible with one of these guys in your list.
So the good thing about the Core of the Wind, as Harry's gone over there, is although it's easy as described as you can move and run, It's very explicitly, no, you add your initiative to your move value. It does not count as a rush. You cannot rush, which
Right.
means you can use this on units that cannot rush.
Mm.
Like
Oh,
heavy units.
interesting.
So your Saturnine Dreadnought, which is now being a White Scar, is move 8, can now
And
add
now
his
he's got
initiative to its
and he's got a
move.
double inversion beamer, so he's like,
So yeah, so he's moving whatever. I don't know what their initiative is. Initiative 3
must be
He's
3,
got-
I think. I would have
but
thought.
yeah, he's got an 11-inch move, and then he can
Jesus.
shoot and charge as normal.
Jesus.
I love
Jesus
using this on
Christ.
Assault Marines or Terminator. Like a big unit of Eben Keshik, you go, right, I've got a 13-inch move, and then I can charge.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, okay. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I can see this guy being really useful with a jet bike command squad as well, right? You know, definitely to slingshot it forward and to ensure you get a first turn charge off. Absolutely love this. Cool. Yeah, what's not to love? Okay, definitely include one of these in your list is what I
And then
would
obviously,
suggest.
just for the last thing, the other even if you don't go for the divination or the upgrade cost, because he is limited, he can't take like biomancy or pyromancy. He is slightly limited in his options. But even just his base Stormcalling power, the Unseen Bolt, 36-inch range, barrage, 5-inch blast
Holy shit,
with
barrage.
stun 2, and if you force it, it's strength 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, so he's just basically like an
Raining
artillery.
lightning down on people.
He's just like a artillery. Well, I don't know where it comes from. It comes from his mouth, does it?
It's
Oh,
raining
Calling
lightning
the
down.
lightning.
oh, it's
Calling the
lightning.
storm.
Okay. Oh, of course it's lightning. Yeah, sorry. It's not a bolt from his mouth hole. Okay, cool. Right, let's have a look at the next unit. So Inducti, as we said before, we didn't do a specific Inducti episode. We'll just go through them as part of our deep dives. So talk to us, Howie, about the Inducti.
We got punished for having the most ridiculous Inducti in second edition. So, they're really interesting. I can see a use for them. Will I ever do it? Probably not. I think the use I would have for them is a big-ish squad to tie up something that you don't want getting to you, because their rule makes them a bit of a problem to deal with, which is basically you're never hitting them on better than a 4-up. So it doesn't matter your web skill 5, 6, 7, they're just going to sit there.
I think it's actually worded it only works on weapon skill 5.
Is it only? Oh, that's
Let me double check.
interesting.
I've got rules
And
here.
Oh, so it wouldn't work on weapon skill 6 units.
6, yeah.
Lobi Inducti PDF.
Okay, well,
Keep talking while I look.
what else can I arm it with? So I can any model may swap to a heavy chainsaw.
Yeah, for an upgrade, which is fun, but probably not hugely useful.
No problem.
So yeah, they're interesting. I think the problem I always have with Inducti as a whole is you can't then obviously give them a prime advantage.
Yeah.
So like if I could blend this with Interdiction Cadre, I'd probably take them and lob them in. It'd just be hilarious. But I'm kind of like, yeah, how am I going to use them?
Yeah. Just to confirm, the Inducti rule for any strike group in which the attacking combatants have a current weapon skill of 5, the target of hit units is 4-up. So weapon skill 6 hits them on 3s, but weapon skill 5 hits them on 4s.
Okay. I wonder
So
if
even worse than you thought.
I wonder if they know that. They're like they're only a little bit better. If they're a little bit better, they can. But if they're really better, then they can hit them on 3s. Okay, all right, interesting. And the other thing to note here, I mean, they are expendable 1, but the other thing to note is because they're Vanguard, they can only score 1 VP as well. So they haven't got as much flexibility, perhaps, as other Legion Inducti, which is that they can score and then have a cool rule on top of that as well. Nice. Okay, let's have a look at what is next.
It's time to upgrade your battlefield with Sacrus Mundus terrain. Sacrus Mundus sculpt breathtakingly detailed and varied terrain that will bring your games of Horus Heresy to life. From the ruined cities of Armoria to the jungle vestiges of Lintrath, Sacrus Mundus design immersive battlefields for any type of tabletop wargaming experience you desire. Find their extensive terrain collections online right now.
So Falcon's Claws, Kerry, I was looking at Falcon's Claws yesterday because I was like, oh, I've got a big old squad of Alpha Legion with lightning claws, and I was like, I wonder what Falcon's Claws do, only to discover that they're a pathetic 4-up save, which is, I think they were last time as well. But talk us through the Falcon's Claws.
So these guys are a callback to when the Legion was the pioneers going out doing scouting, finding new planets to settle on the Great Crusade. So they are the scouting units, as you say. They are scouts, so strength toughness 4, 1 wounds, leadership 7s with 4 up armor save. They get outflank, which is nice. They get precision 6 up, which means they can go hunting for sergeants. They have a light subtype, which is rare enough. I don't actually know what it does. Off the top of my head.
You get additional benefits to your focus roll. Off the top of my head, and I'm sure it does something at a secondary.
You get an extra inch on your run as well, I think.
Yeah. It might even be 2. It might be 2 inches. I'd have to double check that.
So every guy comes with a pair of lightning claws, which means that attack characteristic of 2 is effectively actually 4 base, unless they start swapping them out for something. And then the champion can take, Thunderhammer, Power Fist, or a couple of different flamers.
Yeah, it was interesting because it became quite pricey because you can give them a whole range of like weapon options, but you can give like a Power Fist and a Falcon's Claw, right? You can like it's really nuts, but it becomes then really, really, really pricey. How much is a pair of lightning claws just on a normal despoiler? How much is it? A 10-point
10
upgrade
points.
or a 15?
Yeah, it's normally taking a sergeant 10-point upgrade.
Interesting. Okay, so these guys are 18 points. So what's your thoughts on these guys then? Worth taking, not or not?
I think they're a fun, fluffy thing, and if there was a scout model, I might convert some, but obviously we don't have scouts in Heresy anymore, and the 40k scouts are head and shoulders too tall.
Yeah. Good point. I can't charge from outflank, can I? That is not a thing I can do.
You can
not unless you've come from your deployment zone, which isn't terrible because it still protects them a bit, right?
Yeah.
You come in 12 inches on, come in right at that corner point where your deployment meets no man's land, 12 inches on, 9-inch move because you're a white scar. So you're propelling yourself a bit forward. You can, if you come on turn 2 because you're in reserve, you can hold them back a little bit. The enemy's moved up. You might catch some units as they move up and try and take the midfield objectives. But
yeah, I think that's the thing with outflank now. A lot of stuff I look at, it's like, I'm using it as a deterrent.
Yeah.
So Ed, who plays me the most, has learned to fear the board edge. He will deliberately channel up the middle because he doesn't go clear to his edge.
Yeah, of course.
It's still useful. I think these guys are good. I think one of the things that's really interesting is you can't challenge out sergeants anymore, right? And you want to kill those sergeants and nuncios. And these guys will do that. If they go into a tactical squad or the spoiler squad, whether they survive or not is a different question, but you're pretty much guaranteeing that their sergeant and a nuncio has gone goodbye.
Yeah,
precision 6 when you got 4 or 5 attacks each. 5.
Yeah.
What? How many points are these guys just as a squad of 5?
110.
10 cheaper ships.
That is cheap for a squad of 5.
But if you point a heavy bolter at them, the squad will disappear.
Okay.
They do have
that's
bombs,
dangerous,
which is cool.
Yeah. What do shroud bombs do then?
So shroud bombs are like popping smoke for a vehicle, right? You pop them and you are shrouded 5 up.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see these guys in a Land Raider actually. Like, just because they've got the lightning claws. I actually wonder whether you wouldn't use them in an expeditionary role where they're kind of further up the board than the rest of your force, and you just go, I'm going to take 2 land raiders filled with Falcon's claws because they've all got lightning claws, and I'm going to go hunting after despoilers, and I'm going to go hunting after tactical marines. I wonder whether that would be useful. And the fact that they haven't got Vanguard is also interesting because they can just score the max amount of points. Like, they're not lined, but they can still score like 2, 3, 1 point or whatever, which I think is interesting. I think they're not overly costed, but it's just their access to mass lightning claws is probably really useful in a game where there aren't that many attacks in it.
10 manifests are running 200 points, which is
that's a
10-man squad. That's pretty decent.
That's really decent. That's a really decent. And then like a Land Raider, 270 points or whatever, like 470 points for this unit is going to be pretty.
They can take their own Cyber Eagle still, can't they? As well, I think they didn't get rid of that. Yeah, for 10 points.
That's interesting. Yeah, you just got to fear a volley fire, I think, because these guys are with a 4 up. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, let's have a look. What is the next? Dark Sons of Death. So, Howie, talk us through the Dark Sons of Death then.
Do you know, the one was I'm least familiar with, so I took a quick look at the rules and realised that somehow they'd managed to get worse than second edition. Actually, quite impressive that they've managed to do that. They've got one really cool, fluffy rule, which we come on to. But basically, they're bad destroyers is probably a good way of looking at it.
I mean, they're quite expensive. 30 points a model. I mean, they're like an Ebon Kashig is only 5 points more, right?
Yeah, single attack. Do you know what I mean? Weapon skill 4. Single.
This feels like a slip of the.
It's almost. I'm
keyboard,
convinced it's a typo because these are the only unit in the game that have a pistol and a close combat weapon that don't have 2 attack space.
Yeah,
I think it must be.
Yeah, something's gone wrong here. I think. Yeah.
So they're just not great. I think the only saving grace is the Call of the Wind Power can just be popped without the Stormseer seeing them and within 24 inches. But probably your enemy doesn't care because when they go into your lines, they're going to be like, oh no, I'm taking 6 attacks from.
Yeah.
It's a shame because they've got one of the most unnecessarily metal emo names for a unit in the game. They are, Heresy. They're the whitescars destroyers, and see, for whitescars to be very spiritual, they're all about total annihilation of the enemy in body and spirit and soul.
And the power glaives have got even more expensive now.
These guys, one of these guys with a power glaive is 45 points for a 1 wound toughness 4 3-up armor save model.
Something's gone wrong here. If somebody from the studio is watching this, go and make an adjustment on these guys because nobody's going to be taking them, despite their metal name. Okay, well, we won't spend any more time on this. What's our next unit, please, Kerry? I think it's the man himself, isn't it? Oh no, it's this man. So Hibu Khan, the Seeker of Atonement. So this guy, this motherfucker, he betrayed his Khan, and now he's trying to find repentance by cutting off little Horus'
face.
Yeah. So talk us through this guy, Kerry, because he's pretty cool. Really, an absolute Chad model. And he's absolutely spilling off the base. This guy, isn't he? I couldn't believe he was came on a 32mm base.
Like he was one of the first Mark IIs we got before Mark II. Obviously, before Mark II plastics were revealed. Yeah, everyone was like, "Ooh, yeah."
This is what they will end up looking like. Yeah. Cool.
So he is move 7, well, so move 9 in reality. Web skill 6, bliss skill 5, strength 4, 3 wounds. He tracks with a centurion, I think. 4 attack. He's leadership 10 because again he's seeking his death. Wants to go and do it. 8 for the rest. 2 up, 5 up. He is for a named character. He is a rare officer of the line. So
that's pretty good, isn't it?
2 attachments.
Like Ventanus or whatever. Yeah, that's nice.
He has the expendable 2 rule, so he's Sagyamazan, so he's looking to die.
Yeah.
And he has Seeker of Atonement, which is his unique gambit. It's a lot like Lokans and a couple of other people that when you die, roll dice on a 4-up, you come back. And it doesn't say anywhere you can only do this once.
No, I was going to say, because this is what we found when we talked about Loken on the deep dive, which is that he can potentially just keep on coming back until you fail that 4-up, right?
Yeah. The good thing is here, if you die, when you come back, you get challenge advantage as well. So you can go, I'm in charge now, and we're disengaging.
It's so
nice.
cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So he is equipped with his weapon, Breath of the Storm, which has got an unnecessary tassel on it, which is just going to get stuck in the middle of everyone he stabs. He's +1 initiative, so he's going initiative 6. He's +2 strength, so he's initiative 6. He's AP 3, damage 1, but it's critical hit 6 and breaching 4-up.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the breaching 4-up is nice. I mean, it's not mourn it all, for God's sake. I mean, that is the absolute badass Praetor level weapon, but it's not too shabby. But you're just hoping for 4-ups and you're hoping for lots of 6s, right? I mean, that's the bottom line on this one. What's your thoughts on him, Howie?
I love him, but I also fear running him because I've gone against Sigismund with him, and he just held Sigismund in a challenge for like 6 rounds.
Oh, whoa!
He kept dying, and it's like 4-up.
He just kept on coming back. Oh, I love that. It's so good.
Down to like 1 wound, and eventually got him. If you get a clever player, though, they'll very quickly just deny that gambit if they've got advantage. If they know of it, they're like, "No, I'm stopping you doing that one." You're like, "Oh, disappointing." He's expensive. I think it's about 165 points for he's kind of halfway in between a Centurion and a Praetor, right? But if I've got the points and I need the Officer of the Line, which is great, because it's like having a Centurion that really kicks dick, is the way I look at him.
Yeah.
Then I love taking him just for the nonsense value. And yeah, if he spikes his rolls, he's a little bit of a menace. And it's just a lush model as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could just, if you just want a Centurion model or whatever, and you don't want to run him as Hibu, can't take this guy because the model's great. He's also one of the named characters within the Shattered Legions,
as well.
Which is also interesting. So I think he replaces Legione Astartes, whitescars with Legione Astartes, Shattered Legion, right? And the fact that he's got Officer of the Line 2 is going to be useful because then it just unlocks like multiple things. Cool. I'm not quite sure what the Shattered Legion whitescar rule is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Plus one
initiative,
rush, and +1 on setup, I believe.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about the Shattered Legion rules, but we will talk about that.
It's a whole different show.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right, let's move on to the next guy. So Qinzar. So he is an absolute boss. I've got mixed feelings about his model. I feel like it was made at a time when they were still just finding their feet with 3D sculpting. But he is really cool within the books, like really, really cool. And he's got a really nice little rule, which I think if you are playing with reserves, I think it's definitely top notch. So, Kerry, talk us through Qinzar.
So Qinzar is one of Khan's oldest friends, head of the. He's not first captain, I don't think, but he's close enough. He's master of the Keshig, chosen of the Kargan.
Can I just, as an aside, I always find it really interesting because this guy was with the Khan prior to him becoming a legionary. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like, I really find it really interesting in the books. This massive thing is made about Luther being like, is a human. He's slightly older, and he's like, halfway between a human and an Astartes. But then when you dig down into it, all these Primarchs have their Bezzy mates who are just like full-blown Astartes. Like, and it's the same with Leman Russ as well. Like, he made loads of his mates that like who were clearly adults, loads of Space Marines as well. Is that I
guess it's because Qinzar was not his father figure. He was his best mate. When they were
but
kids,
he was still he was still an adult. I see by the time that the Legion were found, like, which goes against everything that we understand about kind of like indoctrination and Legion. Anyway, it's bloody back right. Black Library writers need to sort their bloody lives out. That's what they need to do. Anyway, right. Sorry, I interrupted. Go for it.
So he gets to run at weapon skill 6, strength 4, toughness 5 because he's a Terminator. 4 wounds. We'll come back to that. Initiative 5 attacks. Leadership 10. 9 across the rest of the board. 2 up, 4 up because any name character now. He's bulky 2. He has the chosen for Kargan rule, which means once per battle he can automatically pass a reserve test for a unit in reserve.
Yeah, it's really nice.
You have to declare it before you roll, though, which is interesting. So you can't roll and go, I pass it. You have to kind of burn it preemptively.
And then does that work for flyers, or does it not work for
No, because they're not.
They don't use reserve rolls.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Remus Ventalis then. Totally. Cool.
So, and then he has his twin swords. He's lost his ability to pick what fighting style he goes for. He's just got a generic stale now. Tails of a dragon, slice people in half. At initiatives, that attack. +1 strength, strength 5, AP2 D1, critical 5, precision 3.
Man, that precision 3 is great, but I fear you're just going to be locked in challenges where it's just not going to make a difference.
Yeah, so I always slap a champion in with him.
Genius. So he can take the challenge and then this guy can just chop up nuncios. Right. Yeah, I like it. Good use of the Master of the Keshik there, just slicing up nuncios. So his weapon is pretty nice. I mean, just the fact that it's precision 3 up, I absolutely love that. That's really, really cool. So 220 points, so he's quite pricey.
He's very expensive. That's his problem. And compare him to a baseline Terminator Praetor, he's got less wounds, which is a arbitrary decision. But
okay, that's interesting.
So for 220 points, it's a bit odd.
I think what is also interesting that we haven't mentioned at all was that it was quite hard in previous edition to attach a character to a unit that had the ka
Crash.
Karash rule, whereas now you can just attach literally anybody to anything.
Yeah.
So this is
Basically,
quite a good option to put with Evan Keshik, right?
yeah,
So they all
especially
move at the same time.
he used to have the ability to have a unique command squad. They could take glaives, which people could normally they couldn't do, but he's lost that. So
Yeah,
he's in
interesting.
search of a home now.
You've got to do a
Yeah.
bit of like law bending, really, in your mind, though, right? To throw a load of Evan
Oh
Kesher.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, what he needs to go with is a command squad, like a Tartarus command squad in a Spartan, whatever. And can he, for the reserves test, can he, be in a transport that brings himself on? Does he need to be on the table in order to
Good
do
question.
Doesn't say it does. Just says once per battle at the start of reserves phase, you may select a single unit. So
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you could always put him in a outflanking land radio explorator or something. He couldn't charge like first turn, but if you want to get him up the board fast, then that might be the way to do it. Cool. I like him. I think he's pretty good, and yeah, but he's just quite spenny.
30 points too much, I think.
Yeah, do you reckon 30 points?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Cool. Right, let's have a look at the daddy himself. So, Howie, talk us through Jaghatai Khan then.
So I think the number one thing is only one stat line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's massive, right? I mean, I would love to know the backstory on this because I had heard that they were going to do a bike. They clearly intended to do a bike because we had fucking rules
I'm on a
for it.
bike.
And it's just never materialized, which is just, quite frankly, I think it's just tragic.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know the internal politicking that led to the decision that basically just he wouldn't end up on a bike. And yeah, I just think what an own goal. It's like, man, yeah, just
I'm gonna
anyway.
yeah,
That's
I'm gonna make controversial opinion. Him on a bike was not a good rule.
Do you not reckon?
There was no one for him to go with.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He didn't fit well with Golden Keshik. He did normal scimitar jet bikes were terrible in combat. They weren't a good place for him. He just
You
never
go with
really
a command
had
squad though, like which would make sense, surely.
But yeah, he was limited. I think that's the limitations of him.
If GW are listening, I still really want Khan on a bike. You can make him terrible.
Yeah, just put him on a bike. Cool. Okay, well, talk us through this guy then.
So he's pretty much like bog standard Praetor stats. The big ones that are different are his initiative and his attacks. I believe I7 is insane. So he's very likely to be swinging around first.
Yeah.
In terms of like the Legion buffs he gives, one is kind of makes sense. So first turn, infantry and power can get fast 2. So they're even faster than they were. That's kind of cool. That makes sense. The other one is a bit bonkers. So the other one is you can swap all of your rhinos for Land Raider Explorators if you happen to have a casual 800 points spare in your army.
What the fuck?
Yeah, when I read it, I was like, what?
Every other Legion's Primarch gives all their troops prime. Ours goes, no, fuck your rhinos, you get Land Raiders.
Yeah, which are really well sort of made note of in all of the White Scars books, right? You see them popping out of Land Raider Explorators left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Nuts.
Does it say you have? Also, does it say you have to swap them?
You don't have to. No, it could be the most hilarious rule.
Yeah.
No rhinos for you.
Yeah, that's interesting. That. Okay, cool. Yeah, interesting.
And Death by 1,000 Cuts is interesting. It's to do, Kerry, you probably know this better. It's to do with how wounded as you wound them, you get advantage, don't you? More so than usual. Is that right?
Yeah. Again, it's not clear. Because I don't own the model, so I've never actually used him. So terrible White Scar player.
So if
his gambit is selected, the strength attacks made by the enemy are modified by -1 if that wound characteristic is reduced from its base value. Right. So normally, if you're wounded, it reduces your focus roll. This reduces your strength by 1 if you're wounded. Which, if you're wounded,
yeah,
it doesn't matter if you're wounded once or wounded 8 times. It's just -1 strength.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Let's have a look at his other weapons on the second page. Talk us through these then, Howie.
So ignoring the pistol first, but going straight for the main weapon. This is the initiative stacking, right? So he's now at I9. So much like second edition, he's very likely to be going first. And then if he's in a challenge, it's like effectively he's I12.
What? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
H3. That's crazy. Whoa.
Yeah. Extra attack if he's got the charge off as well, which is pretty spicy. So strength 6, strength basis, D2. So yeah, I'd say he's like, what? Low, maybe like B tier in kind of like Primarch stuff. He's not got the ability to push that D2 any higher, which is, I think, what limits him a little bit. Although a lot of them are Eternal Warrior 2, it doesn't matter too much. You're doing 1 wound. So yeah, he's going to hold his own. The gun's interesting. It's a beefed up pistol. It's D2 breaching 5 up, which is nice with Death Great. Could potentially get the stun status off. This is the thing I still get my head around. A couple of times I had a Primarch battle that Primarchs can be status.
Can be status and stunned. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Which will obviously be huge.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, it just seems all right. I mean, it's basically that problem, isn't it? Which is that he is going to absolutely murder anything that he comes across, and he's going to murder it earlier on. But if he comes across a Primarch, he's going to struggle because he's only ever causing 1 damage with his target out because of the fact that they've got a Eternal Warrior too.
I've seen a few Primarch duels. Not in person, but in battle reps and people talk about them. Because of that Eternal Warrior 2, Eternal Warrior 3, I think Primarch fights are about quantity, not quality. Yeah. You want flurry of blows. I want to do 18 D1 attacks, not 5 D3 attacks.
And the good thing is he's going to win the focus probably, right? That is the good thing. So there's the extra 1 for winning the focus roll off too.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I think the problem with these Primarchs now is just, you can do like 17 rounds in 1 turn, but if you don't do that and kind of limit it to like 3 a turn or whatever, you're just going to get your Primarchs are just going to get stuck in combat for like the whole of the game.
That was second edition.
Second
edition Primarch fights where 2 Primarchs meet, their retinues murder each other, and then whoever's retinue wins mobs in and wins it.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, take loads of Land Raider Explorators, apparently, because that's the whitescars thing. Right. Let's talk about lists now. So we've got 3 lists. We've got 1 created by Howie and then 2 created by Cerri. Cerri, this is your one at 2,000 points. So
this is my one. Nice small starter list. Anyone who knows my list, there's more than a few things that are my signatures in here. So got Centurion, got Champion with a jump pack, and got Storm Sea with Storm Calling. So 3 HQs and 2,000 points.
Yeah.
It's decent. 3 units of Tactical Marines, Nuncio Voxes in 2 Rhinos, because line is winning.
Yeah.
Use a Champion to take Veteran Cadre. Got a 7-man jump command squad with dual lightning claws, and 9 Veteran Assault Marines with dual lightning claws.
Oh, okay.
There's a theme
you just
here.
really want to murder like infantry, basically.
It's about attacks. It's at +2 attacks on the chart. +2 attacks having paired lightning claws just takes up a level. Predator with a heavy conversion beamer, sit back, and Sakaar and Venator to plow away.
Yeah.
And then 5 Outriders with double plasma.
Yeah.
And 6 Recons with snipers.
We did briefly talk about the Outrider. So just a note on those. And we did say that basically every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to end up with these in their arsenal. So basically they can outflank, they can move very far, even if they're white scars or not. And then their plasma guns are just great, are just absolutely obliterating infantry. They do have a maximal fire setting, is that right?
Yeah.
And they've got Firestorm.
And they've got Firestorm as well. So the
big thing is their breaching value is better than most plasma guns.
It's 4 up, right?
4 up when it's overcharges. Yeah. It's huge.
And I would, so the Firestorm is interesting. So basically, they can obviously shoot at one target, go and try and charge another target, but then decide they can then shoot at full BS and then decide not to charge because Firestorm means that you don't necessarily have to charge. So they are, they're an absolute menace. Like they're a menace when they come in from outflank, and they're a menace when they come on all subsequent turns as well. So, and then the other tough thing is if they're white scars, you go near them and they just move bloody miles away, so you can't like get into combat with them.
Well, there's a slightly horrible thing with bikes as well that most people haven't picked up on, that cavalry have their own advanced reaction.
Do they actually? What's
Yeah,
that?
it's not to do with moving, but if you try and charge them, they can bugger off then as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh.
So everyone's got like a slightly weaker version of the actually I'm just going to get away from you. And I think they get to volley before they disappear off as well.
Whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, these they need to be ended quickly. These because they are menace, and when they come out in plastic, I think lots of people would take these.
Hordes.
Cool. Okay, right. Let's talk us through how your 2,500 point list.
And so I love like this kind of points level. It makes you think, right? So Praetor, like, yeah, one thing's clear, I can't give up that extra reaction that Praetor gives me with White Scars. Our reaction's too good. So I kind of always force one in, I have to say. Paragon, Blade, and Cyberhawk. The champion as well in Tartarus. So those folks are going together. For a bit of fluff, I lob them in Cestus Assault Ram. Those things are basically unkillable now when they arrive. So that they're going to rock up. There's no one thing I couldn't quite squeeze into here, which made me kind of nervy, was no Master of Signals. Not that I'd get it on that, but just in case I want to do anything else.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's a bit risky, but like turn one, you got 18 inches from your edge of your board, plus their 9-inch move, plus their charge. So they're nobbling something if they come in. Vigilator, like, yeah, we just did that on, I think we did it on podcast recently. I've lost track. Vigilator is just great. I was at an event the other day with a Vigilator Prime, and he took 7 Centurions over the weekend. Absolutely.
Did you give him Sagi Mazan, or did you make him a Paragon of Battle?
That one was Paragon, yeah. So I'm always a bit torn because Sagi Mazan is quite useful because in a small game I can sit him on an objective.
Yeah.
And then people don't want to kill him because he's not the first strike.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're really annoying and you pop smoke on him. Then you're like,
do you want to explain why you would give him Paragon of Battle?
So Paragon of Battle is horrible because it basically takes him to ballistic skill 8, which means he's critting on a 4-up. So on a 4-up, it's if he hasn't moved, it auto breaches, damage free. So it's like make your invulnerable or lose your Centurion. He's absolutely savage. So it's really tricky for me. I like the Sagamazam because it makes him a line scorer in my head. I know it feels a bit weird, but I can really push him up and think people probably won't want to take him. Yeah. Not for how much hassle he is to get rid of, because either they're scared I'm going to shoot at them, or I pop smoke if they've got vehicles, and then he's a 5-up with 3 wounds. You know, and they're like, ugh. So then they leave him, and we might hang around for another turn. See if we get lucky.
Does he have infiltrate as well?
Yeah, infiltrate 9, I believe.
Yeah. So you could put him some heavy terrain as well for
terrain. So you can, absolutely. Yeah, it could be even better.
Cool.
So that's the thing. Typical Stormseer. This one with Storm Calling and Telepathy. I think that might be wrong. Might have meant to put Divination. My apologies.
Cool. Let's just give him Divination. That's fine.
Yeah, both are good. The Telepathy one's quite good though because of the Fear 1. Everyone misses that on Telepathy. It's got a Fear 1 bubble on him, which is great.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah,
we put him into combat. 2 sets of Despoilers. One of those is actually in a prime slot and will have Interdiction.
Okay.
And lob them in. It was insane. I was playing Coggers and Connor the other day. One of my Despoiler squads interdicted and then managed to hoof it 34 inches across the board in a turn. Between assaulting, consolidating, getting boofed by a Stormseer, and then making a 6-inch charge.
It was interesting.
Absolutely mad. So they were in literally their back line on long board edge on turn 2. So that was great. Another Despoiler squad, Lightning Claws, as usual. It's just so good, this edition. 2 blobs of 12 tactical wounds. No armor. I sometimes miss a Rhino. Like when I looked at Kerry's Ish, I had like Rhino Envy. But then so often I'm like, I didn't need it. It's kind of one of those really ones. Some games I miss them. Sometimes I'm like, there's points I could put into. By the time we've taken 2 Rhinos, you could take a whole other tactical squad, right? And we're pretty fast anyway. Yeah. It's a hard trade-off. The less friendly part of the list, 2 C-beam Preds. The Worcester meta.
You didn't want to go for a Jacurian Locus on those?
I withhold from putting locuses on them to try and give them a weakness.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they're so tough if you can return fire with them, right? They're savage.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. Well, wow, not just that. I mean,
Havocs
and the las cannons as well. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, there are the Havocs. Yeah, naughty. Yeah.
Absolutely. See, I didn't go last cannons on them always because I find that really tricky. Sometimes I want it for the range, but often I'm shooting these at mooks. And I might rather have the bolters, right? And the 20 points can go somewhere else.
Interesting.
Taking a pair.
Yeah.
Outriders, for all the reasons we've discussed, with a Vox, just in case, to keep them active. That's the other problem, the jet bikes, they can't take Voxes.
Yeah.
Whereas the Outriders can. It's a big disadvantage. A bit of a mixed Ebb and Keshi squad in this one. A couple of Power Fists, which means also a couple of Storm Bolters by definition, and the Vexilla. So they'll bundle into the Ram with the Praetor and the Champion. And then Gentleman's number of Seekers. 5. Again, for midfield scoring, or just pop in those Nuncio Voxes. It's a very lean list. Just relying on that line to get up, score, which I find most of the games I've played now is get up, score early. You will get destroyed, but you've scored enough that it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, really interesting. Yeah, this is a really interesting list, this one, I think. It covers kind of all the bases. It's really interesting to see, like, one of the big differences between last edition is just like, here's 44 kind of line or infantry models, which isn't something that you would necessarily see in the previous edition, just due to what rights of war and how elite often things were, etc. So yeah, I think a couple of things on this one. This is definitely, I think, the Despoiler Squad loadout is like the standard Despoiler Squad loadout, right? Like if you're looking to take the spoilers, that's probably the way to go. And same with attack marines. 10 or 12, but the sergeant with the combi grav is great because he's got like an 18-inch like pinning one shock
pinned a 200-point tank last weekend for me with a random shot.
Exactly, and then the Nuncio to get them back up as well, so that's quite a good one. And you got a couple of extra tactical marines in just to take some wounds, which is nice. I hadn't really considered the heavy bolters on the conversion beam preds. I get the point. I suppose in my head you're just always going after infantry elites, so you're just like, it's good to have the strength 9 and the damage 2 or whatever. But I completely take the point. Like it's totally fair. But yeah, like this a lot. It's pretty savage. One thing I will say that I've just been sort of alerted to. So in the Shattered Legion list, word bearers get 3 dice, and they pick the highest out of 3 dice. Is it for their charges?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I wonder whether word bearers interdiction cadres.
Savage!
You get 3 dice, and then because you've got to be 5 inches away, right? And then you've just massively increased your chances and your.
You're making it 75% of the time, roughly.
Yeah, right? Which is like, I think if you're taking Shattered Legion word bearers, I think that lots of people will take those interdiction cadres, like because of that. Yeah.
Having done word bearers. My primary legion earlier in the week with you, Rob, I'd rather have their Shattered Legion rule than their actual legion trait.
Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? Yeah, it's really interesting because you can make a really savage, like, close combat unit. Doesn't the Night Lords give like +1 to combat res as well on top of that or something? I seem to remember if they lose a wound or something. So you can just gain basically your legion rule that way. So okay, cool. All right, well, that's a conversation for another time, but something to consider if you're looking at interdiction cadres. Right, let's have a look at 3K. So Kerry, walk us through this one.
I've gone for more style and fluff than possibly performance. So this is a very, very bike heavy mounted white scar list.
Love it.
This is cool.
So we've got a Praetor on a bike with Plasma Blade, Paragon Blade.
Yep.
Got a Centurion on Outrider with twin plasma guns. I love this edition that you can swap the guns on.
Man, they get
bikes
pricey
when you put a character on them.
For that. Yeah, okay, that's good. But...
He's going to join an expensive unit. It's fine.
Yeah. Are Centurions BS5 as well?
Yep.
Shit, crazy. Love it.
Champion on a bike.
Okay, yeah. Swinging his Paragon Blade around his head.
He drives past. Drive-bys. 3 lots 10 tacks and with Nuncios. 10 Despoilers with Nuncio to mix it up. 4 Rhinos, 2 with Pintle Heavy Bolters, 2 with Pintle Heavy Flamers.
Yep.
2 Kazagan Speeders.
Yep.
Because fluff.
Yep.
2 Javelins. 1 with heavy bolter and las cannons, 1 with heavy bolters and Volkites.
Yeah, I think the Volkites are a good gun platform, like for javelins. Like I have got replacements for basically the millions of javelins that I've got for the sponsons and things.
It's like 6 shots though, isn't it? Like if you move.
Yeah. They're just not in a great place. They're just in a really, really odd place because they're nowhere near as survivable, and you can get all those shots elsewhere. Like tanks are just
stable.
infinitely better, but they need 100%. They need stable, and that would make the las cannons a better option for them.
Really good tank hunter again.
They're going to be damaged too. So yeah, alas. Anyway, sorry, Kerry.
Sorry.
Cadre.
Using the champion, take veteran cadre, six golden Keshig, bare bones, 9-man priority and command squad on bikes, 5 thunder hammers, 4 shields, all with combat shields. So this is 550-point unit.
The bulk squad. Yeah, love it.
But,
okay.
I mean, I spotted it quite quickly in the legacies. A priority and command squad on Outrider has 3 wounds.
3 wounds. They're a problem to deal with.
And a 2-up save. For some reason, they get a 3rd wound for being on a bike.
Crazy.
Everything on a bike gets +1 wound now, including these guys. So it's really interesting. D2 weapons have to put a lot of firepower into them. So they're a little bit autocannon resistant because 2-up saves. So they need the 6s. And even then, you're not killing 1 with each shot.
Can they come in? Do these guys have outflank as well? Do all bikes have outflank?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Anything that's got a Outrider, whatever, Spaffer, attack bikes.
That's awesome. And it's awesome they can take like combat shields for like 2 points or some.
They're 4 points each on the bikes, I think.
4 points on the bike. Interesting.
Well, I think it's because they realised you basically created movement 16 Tartarus when you give them.
That's well funny. But they're not toughness 5 though, these guys.
No, true. But then they got an extra wound.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
If they get into combat, they're a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and they don't have Vanguard. They can score max points.
Or they can take a Legion.
Standard
from +2 on combat rares. They're very expensive. I think that's the thing.
This is much more appealing to me. A Praetorian command squad on bike.
They're cool.
Than like a plasma outrider squad. Like I think this could be like I think in any legion a Praetorian command squad would be pretty good. Can you imagine them in Iron Hands as well? Like I feel like when Warhammer is just rubbing his hands together, being like 3 wound Iron Hand Praetorian command
toughness
squads
5.
Yeah.
In this list, you stick the Praetor and probably the champion in there with them, and that's 1,000-point Death Star.
My God, that's
straight
crazy.
up the middle.
You got to be so careful of blast though, right? Because you get barrages and things like that, especially like damage 2 or damage 3 blasts. Just putting a Typhon shell on top of those guys. I welcome your Praetorian command squad. Anyways, so Chagorian Warband.
And then finish off with the Chagorian Warband, 5 scimitars with Volkite culverins, all over on jet bikes. They're going to sit at the back and not move to maximize it.
100%.
3-man scimitars with multi-melter, the traditional suicide unit. Throw them up, kill dread, kill tank, die.
They're a good one to put Sagamazan on, right? Because people will try and kill them as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Yeah.
5 outriders with Twisted Plasma, 5 outriders with bolt guns. Still a decent amount of shots, and just throw a lightning claw on the sergeant because they have points left. So,
man, I mean,
it's very bike heavy.
Points. Yeah, but there is a lot in this list, isn't there? Like,
but the tacticals of the spoilers are your scoring units. Because see, all the bikes, all the bikes got that scoring thing. 1 point for killing stuff. I forgot my name. Yeah. Thank you. Jeez. So you're scoring on killing objectives. The troops are scoring on the objectives. The jet bikes are looking pretty because they can't score anything.
Yeah.
Same with all the javelins and the speeders, but they're there the speeders are there to do a bit of shooting and kind of distract and annoy people.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot in it, despite the fact that you've got a 541 point unit in there. It's good because you've not taken any like heavy AV14, right? Where loads of your points is just being shoved into. So there's plenty of points to put other stuff in. But
so I've got this 540-point unit.
Do you?
Yeah.
I paint it.
You're never going to catch this unit. This is the other thing, though. You're never going to catch it with the white scars. Like advanced reaction, it's going to be really tough to ever catch this unit in close combat. And then they're just going to like do a skid in the dirt and then just come around and then just like shoot you to death with their plasma and multi-melters and Volkites. So
and as Harry was talking about earlier
on jump on jet bikes though is what you can do is when they come to you because you have to move away, right?
Yeah.
So then you're 16 inches over them.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love
doing the
that.
back
Yeah.
line. And, you've got to be lucky
Yeah.
that there's nothing that can charge you. But they're like,
Yeah.
oh no, what have I
Yeah.
done?
So
Yeah.
the evade, Harry was talking about earlier on, the evade reaction is available to cavalry or light units. It's an assault
Okay.
reaction. You do volley fire, and then your unit moves back inches equal to its initiative characteristic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Interesting.
move away four or
So you
five
can get
inches.
plasma biked on your assault phase going into them again. It's just nuts.
That is nice. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, savage. Okay, cool. Well, let's move on to our final thoughts for this. So, Howie, final thoughts on White Scars? Yay or nay? Do you think they're top? I mean, would you say they're top three, top five? Like, how would you rate them at the
I
moment?
I think in the right hands, if you're someone that knows how to play a movement orientated game and are
Mm,
playing missions rather than killing things,
yeah,
yeah, I'd say that they're top three, maybe even top two. To be
yeah,
honest, it's just they're so fast, and also they put so much indecision into your opponent on turns 2, 3, 4
yeah,
because they don't want to move because they know that you'll go, oh, you move there, I move here,
yeah.
which becomes really problematic. You just get that kind of decision paralysis from people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so what's the option there, really? Which is that you're just going to have to shoot them, aren't you? I mean, that's because you're not going to catch them in close combat. So their Achilles heel will be shooting, but then that brings its own issues, which is that if you're playing GW rules, and you've got quite a
Oh, we can disappear.
densely populated table of terrain, you're not going to be able to draw your line of sight. So, it's interesting that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty savage, and as you say, they basically win the game in the movement phase. Kerry, thoughts on? Are you preferring playing with word bearers at the moment, or your
I'm
white scars
enjoying
at
my
the
white
moment?
scars more
Right.
recently. Yeah, the word bear deep dive we did in for weeks give me a few ideas to go.
Yeah.
Actually, I hadn't considered that. Maybe try things.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting. White scars, as I said, they're very powerful, but
Yeah.
ironically, they're very powerful just because of their legion trait. Their
Yeah.
actual units,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
their actual
Yeah.
characters, Stormseer maybe excluded. They're nothing
Mm.
special.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, go, no Alpha Legion player is going, I've got to take Sebeb and Keshig.
Agreed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They've got,
Yeah, you're weighing it up against other things. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Which is that I would say that it's often the opposite is the case for lots of legions, which is that their legion rule +1 reaction per turn is a little underwhelming, and then you're requiring other things within the legion list and their legion specific armory to be able to support you. Whereas with the white scars, it's almost the other way, which is that the the ability just to move +2, the impact that that has in the movement phase, then combined with the fact that that helps in the assault phase as well, is massively useful. But then that's overlapped with the advanced reaction, which is just infinite, which is super powerful. I'd be interested to see whether they do change that in the future. Just because it's just going to be so hard to catch them and interact with them in the combat phase. Yeah, I'd be interested to see whether that's something that they tighten up on. I mean, I'm amazed that we did get a FAQ relatively early on. I'm quite amazed that we haven't received a FAQ, yeah, a broader, more deeper FAQ,
Back.
or yeah,
I
so
know
we
I've
shall see.
submitted nearly a dozen questions to the fact line now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're probably overwhelmed with questions, I suspect.
I think like final thoughts for me twofold. One is there was a there was a really interesting episode you guys did just before third was launched. It's like, oh, what legion traits would you like for third? And one of you posited like +2 inch move,
Yeah,
and it was so funny because everyone just shot it down. It was like, no, it's
no,
too much.
it's too much. Yeah.
One is enough.
Yeah,
It's exactly
and then they got +2. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It just goes to show how powerful it
do
actually
so
is.
much. The
Yeah,
other thing is one thing I've been playing a lot of doubles recently, and that's where white scars really shine because you just load up on the line. Because
yeah,
like you say, our rule just makes everything better.
yeah,
So you load up online and let your opponent like take all their special shooty killy
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And it makes for really good synergy on doubles tables where you're just
yeah,
pushing up, swarming out, and they've got space and time to do what they need to do.
yeah,
So it's very good when played with another legion.
yeah, yeah. Love that. Cool. Okay. Wow. You've heard it here. Top two legions. Right. Perfect.
we've got to stop
Thank
saying
you.
that about everyone.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? We get too excited, too excited. Yeah, too excited. Right, so just final thank yous. As we said right at the start of the show, we run a Patreon. It would be absolutely amazing if you could join it. If you enjoy this episode and enjoy our content, then please consider signing up. You can join up for a 7-day free trial. But particular thank you to our top tier Patreons, our Heresy Hammer Praetors. Lee is currently funny. Inside baseball story the other day. Lee was like, "Oh shit, we need to order more hoodies," and he was like, "Oh no, hang on. Next month we need to order more hoodies." He sent us all into a panic mode. So the hoodies are currently going out. I think we're in month 2. Yeah, it must be month 2 of giving out the hoodies, and then third month next month. And then we are kind of getting our ideas together for the next giveaway. So we're starting to speak to people about those ones. So keep a weather eye on our social media and things like that. And then just the final few bits and pieces. Don't forget. You can listen to us on Spotify. So if you are somebody who likes to walk the dog, or you listen on the while you're commuting and YouTube is not an option, don't forget you can always get our episodes on Spotify. We launch the episodes in the mornings, and then the YouTube comes out in the afternoons, but you can watch it as well. Don't forget to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe as well. And if you've got some questions for us, or got some lists that you want us to analyze, then don't forget to send us an email at heresyhammer30k@gmail.com. We've got lots of exciting things coming. Basically, I'm working every single hour God sends to get the new Heresy Hammer venue up and running, and I'm hoping that we can start doing table bookings for a Monday night at the end of this month. That's the plan. We've got it all set up on the website, but I just need photos of the tables and for everything to be clean and tidy. But we are almost there. I reckon, don't know, 2 more full days, and I think we might just be there. The carpenter's kind of like all finished. I've got a few signs that I need to put up. I'm looking at stencils, big Heresy Hammer stencils, and getting heart attacks from the cost. Yeah, 120 quid for a big stencil. It's bloody outrageous. I should be in the stencil business. It's bloody outrageous. Anyway, enough of me moaning. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to Howie and Cerri for spending time with us and talking through White Scars. Really, really interesting discussion. And we hope to see you on the next one. So take care, guys. See you soon.
Bye.